And the winner for best costume and makeup and hair design goes to Wicked. Stay tuned as we review. Oh. All right, welcome to another episode of Clear Hair. We are reviewing Wicked. I'm so excited as someone who's never watched anything Wicked related. I'm coming in here with fresh eyes. First of all, Cynthia Ervo was killing me because in the movie she's just like, I never once was green. You know, she's coming there crying, like crying, of course. But and then in the interviews, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys working on the project with me, and I'd like to thank all the producers, the casting director, everyone. Like the way they can just turn that accent on and off will always send me. Because she even sung in English. Does that make any sense? She sung in American English. Okay, so we're gonna start with the recap. So the movie starts with basically the origin story of Elphaba. Get me right. You get me right. I'm saying it wrong. Get me right in the comments. But so basically it starts with Elphaba, and basically her mom is married to the governor? Somebody important, right? So they're married, she's married the person, her mom, and she comes out green, like basically she goes and she's still his daughter, but she goes and gets like raised like on the side, you know, and turns out that she has power, and like her sister, her younger sister is wheelchair bound. And so it's time to go to school, and basically it's time to go to school, and she goes to basically the witchcraft registry. It's called the Fizz. Is that what it's called? It's supposed to be Wiz. It's supposed to be a play on the word Wiz. Or was it Shiz? I didn't like the word, so I didn't remember it. I don't know why they just didn't call it Emerald University, but I digress. Basically, she goes there, and so we meet Ariana Grande, Galinda. First of all, she ate down at this role. She was so annoying, and I loved it. So Galinda, she meets Galinda, and you know, Glinda's the opposite. She's blonde hair, pink, and she wants to be a sorceress, but she's not good at. So in walks Michelle Yeoh, who still look. Oh my god, what is her secret? She's looked good my whole life. Like I remember watching her first in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That was almost 27 years ago. Like, don't do the math too quick, but like she's been beautiful my whole life. Like, what is she eating? Like, I don't even care about the movie after that. But anyway, so her father says you can't stay, you know, because she can't be enrolled in the school. She'd cause too much of a spectacle. She doesn't have control over her powers, which is telekinesis. So basically, she ends up showing her power off because her little sister was trying to do things on her own, and somebody there was just being overstepping their boundaries, being very obvious. And basically she ends up showing her power. So Michelle ends up covering for her and basically saying, oh, I want you to study with me. And of course, Glinda, sorry, I'm using everybody's government name. So Glinda comes and she's like, oh, I'll have her, I want to be included. So she's like, oh, so you'll have her stay with you. So they end up being roommates. They loathe each other. They have to go through a whole montage, a lot of singing, a lot of cute outfits, like best outfits I've ever seen. So in walks the prince. Prince is played by Anthony Bridgerton, Jonathan Bailey. And he comes in looking good. Like at one point in the theater, I was like, don't be looking at me like that. He's so handsome. I know he doesn't play for our team, but I don't care. So he's still handsome, respectfully. I know he got a man. So basically he comes in, he's the prince, and you know, they end up, you know, Ariana Grande's character ends up going like, oh, well, since I'm attractive and you're attractive, we should be together, you know. Basically, there's a lot of singing. There's a lot of singing. Everything's in emotion, and I love it. There's a lot of carrying on. So basically, they come to the dance, and basically, in walks the guy who plays SpongeBob on Broadway, the cheater. Sorry, the one that's with Ariana Grande in real life, whatever his name is. He's from Munchkinland. He has red hair, and basically he comes in. And he's so in love with Glinda, but Glinda's like, you want to know what would really make me happy is if you go ask the Elphaba's little sister out, who's in a wheelchair, and basically he asks her out, and they go to the dance, and it turns out that like she's still He's still in love with her. Like, he still has feelings for Glinda, and basically SpongeBob ends up, asking her to dance because he's like, okay, I realize that Glinda doesn't like me. So during the dance, Elphaba shows up, and before then, Elphaba's notified by her little sister that Glinda helped her get a date, and so she's like, okay, let me go ask Michelle about her possibly joining. So afterwards, she ends up giving Glinda, Michelle ends up getting Glinda a practice wand, even though she says, I know you suck, but I don't want to lose her because she said she would quit if I don't. And so afterwards, basically goes to the dance, and they Elphaba's doing like a weird dance or whatever, whatever. And everybody's making fun of her, and then Glinda comes up, and like she starts doing her dance with her, and I think that was so beautiful. By the way, I'll touch more about that in the later part of the review. That was so beautiful that they did that. So afterwards, basically after all that, Michelle writes a letter to the wizard, and Jeff Goldblum is the wizard, and so basically they come to the castle, and it turns out that her wish is that the animals stop being treated incorrectly, because the animals are being treated one of the teachers, who's a goat, literally a goat, the teacher, when he flipped the board said, oh, animals are to be seen, not heard. And basically it's just a lot of prejudice against animals. So he ends up getting arrested because I guess he taught, I don't know why, they never said why he got arrested, but the teacher, who's the goat who befriended Elphaba, ends up getting arrested. And so basically afterwards, she goes to the wizard, and she's like, hey, I need help. Like, my wish desire is to help all the animals. So what a selfless act, because most people would have been like, hey, can I have $1 million? But she's like, can you help the animals? So one of the monkey guards, he has a head of chromium, which is beautiful, by the way. Basically, one eye is brown and one eye is blue, I believe. And so basically she said they have their version of a grimoire, the Grimmy or something. They have a lot of fake words in here, which I respect, because I make up words all the time. And so basically with the grimoire or whatever, they end up opening it, and like she starts saying a spell. It's like, dang, this spell is really long. And so she ends up saying a spell, and so afterwards the monkeys start growing wings, hinting towards, there's a lot of Easter eggs in the movies, but the poppy seeds is what made them go to sleep earlier within the movie for a little bit. And so the monkeys with the wings are the ones that, like, basically the flying monkeys are the Wicked Witch of the West calling card, her men, right? So basically after that, it's a long movie, y'all. Bear with me, 2 more minutes. So basically after that, she come to find out that the wizard's fake. He can't even say one spell. She said, read it. And I know that's right. You can't, can you? I was like, everything was just so extra, and I'm here for it. The Leo in me is so happy because I'm very dramatic. And so afterwards, he turns face, and he's like, actually, you're the witch now. So we're gonna give them a common enemy so they can actually start being loyal to me. So he sent everybody after the witch. And so Glinda and Elphaba have a sweet moment where it's basically like, come with me, and she's basically saying, I can't come with you. So she uses the levitation flight spell again, but this time it was for her broom, and her broom is iconic broom that she rides on. And so she flies away and tries to get them away from everybody, away from Glinda, so she can escape. And then Glinda gets embraced by Michelle, which who knows if she's going to use her as a honey trap in the future. So the movie ends, and she's just saying, you'll never get me, or blah blah. So she's on her broom, and she does a high note, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. So the end of the movie ends, and it says Wicked Part 1. So it hints that there's going to be a second movie. What other things in the movie that I missed? There was a lot of Easter eggs with the poppy seeds, and then there's a point where during the movie where it was raining, and then like Michelle had put an umbrella over her and was like, we don't want you to get wet. And I was like, oh my God. Because, you know, like with the Wicked Witch of the West, like the water, I'm melting. You know, there's a lot of sense. The poppy seeds that happen, the poppy flowers where the goat, Professor Goats, Professor Goats, it was his favorite flowers. So I thought that was pretty dope that they mentioned that. So my overall review, I give it an A-. Like, I really enjoyed it. I feel like everybody embodied their character. We're gonna start with the cons, and we're gonna end on a pro, so we get on a positive note. So the cons, number one, is why are we splitting into two? Like, oh, like, baby, she sung like the Green Lady sung "Let's Go Home." Like, why are we splitting this to two? Like, something about splitting a movie into two parts will always piss me off, because I feel like you're slowing your momentum down. Number two, maybe because I didn't watch the original Wicked, I did find it weird that they were able to get her into school so easily. Like, Michelle was just like, oh, well, she has powers, let her in. Like, forget transfer papers. Like, I don't know what type of formal schooling. I mean, Elphaba always get read as very intelligent, but like, I don't know what type of like schooling she had that she could just come into school. Like, you've never even gone to public school, you know? I didn't like the fact that a lot of the, like, at one point, I was kind of confused on, like, they didn't really say like what happened to her mom, because she said, oh, this is the only thing I have left of my mother. I understand that, you know, there was a part where they explained like her little sister ended up wheelchair bound because her mom kept eating milk flowers, so she wouldn't turn out green, and then like I'm assuming she didn't wake up from childbirth, right? So I understand that aspect, but like I don't know why her mom didn't. I'm assuming it's just like her mom had to stay with her man, because like I don't care what color my kid is, I'm not gonna not be with them. Like, I don't know. Like, I was like, where was the mom? Like, I'm just saying, like, to me, like, I don't know. Like, everybody's different, but like, I don't care if my kid comes out gangrene or blue sapphire. Like, that's my kid. Like, I can't walk around knowing I created them and they're out in this world by themselves. Like, I don't understand. That was kind of weird. Okay, that's kind of weird. Number two, that was a con as well. The length of the movie, 2 hours and 40 minutes. If you're gonna split it into two parts, you should have just, because then I'm just like, what was the director's cut? Because I'm assuming there's always a director's cut. Like, it just gave that the time frame. I don't know. Also, yeah, I think y'all slick with Jonathan Bailey. Spoiler alert, he's not even in the majority of the movie. Like, he's just there to be fine for 2 scenes. And they're like, all right. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Like, you tricked me. Like, I thought it was going to be, I know this is not his story. It's called Wicked, like Wicked Witch of the West. Like, it's not, you know, Jonathan Bailey, like El Furio, whatever his name is. We didn't care. But I did find that kind of messed up. I was like, wait a minute. You said he was going to be in the majority of the movie. Like, what happened? I was kind of confused by that. I didn't like that. I was confused. Okay, just real quick. It's just me being picky with being a con, but like, they never really said why she has powers. Like, they never said it. Like, I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but like, like her being green, I can understand. It's funny because the skin tone I can understand, but the powers, like, it was just like, was this a recessive gene? Like, does the sister have the ability to it? Like, I don't know. And then like, also, I didn't like the fact that Emerald City was so close. Like, they was making it seem like Emerald City was on a different part of the continent, but it was one bus stop away. Like, I don't know. Like, that was kind of odd. And then, like, the wizard, once again, like, when I watched the original Wizard of Oz, like, I was kind of confused on why we wasn't picking up that the wizard was not a real person. Like, me personally, like, it's funny because like, it was for the time frame, but I couldn't imagine, like, if I stood in front of Zordon, sorry, of this person just yelling, talking about, I'm the great wizard of Oz. I was like, first of all, Lord, watch your tone. Do it quietly. Like, I was like, wait a minute, watch your tone, because you're not going to come here. You feel me? Like, you're not going to come here with all that. Like, you're doing a little bit too much. So I didn't like that. There wasn't much other cons besides the runtime. Like, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Like, we grown ups now. Stop it. All right. So I want to go into the pros. Number one, the costume design. We're going to check back in February. If they do not have the Oscar for costume design, y'all hating. It's simple. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. You're a hater. That's what you are. You are a hater. You are a hater. All right? You are a hater. You're trying to sit here and tell me that you don't see those clothes. You don't see how lit, and then the hair. I was like, who is responsible for the micro wig? Who is responsible for that? Because at the end of the day, like, to match it to the scalp, baby, nah, that's a professional. Y'all had one of us on the team. Because ain't no way. There's no way. Whoever's responsible for the hair, explain yourself. Arianna Grande and Cynthia, their singing capabilities remind me that singing is not my gift. It's not. Modeling, walking in heels, talking trash, those are my gifts. Doing math, those are my gifts. But they're like phenomenal singer. Like, the notes come out so easy. Like, you always can tell someone's a great, the late Whitney Houston. You can always tell when somebody's an amazing singer when the sounds come out nicely. They come out softly. You don't have to work hard for them. Like, everything just came out so like, oh, like, it just came out so soft. There was no trying hard. Like, it was just really, really good. Another pro was the chemistry between Cynthia and Arianna. I know they got, they've been doing a press tour where they're always crying. Which that scene where basically, like, Elphaba is dancing by herself, and like, Glinda comes up and dances with her. Like, as someone who has always been an outsider, like, I know y'all be singing, oh, she must have been a cool girl. No, I wasn't. I've been 5'10" since 14. Sounds cool now. Okay, sounds cool now, was not cool in 2004. Okay, so it's really nice to sit there and not, like, when they said you don't care what other people think. Like, I feel like to some degree we all do, because if we didn't care what people think, we wouldn't take showers. Okay, we wouldn't do none of that. We would just be like, okay, I'll take my shower a week. Some people do that. Stop that. But we do, some degree, we all do. Even myself, like, we all do at least care a little bit what people think. But, like, just the fact that, like, she was herself, and, like, she had somebody accept her, like, that was truly beautiful. It's just, like, especially, like, when you're different, like, you build, like, thick skin, you feel me? And some days you just don't feel like putting the armor on. You don't feel like putting the armor on, you don't feel like having that thick skin. But, like, as someone who has always done stuff before everybody else, like, what they call a trailblazer, or whatever they call that is. But as someone who has always, like, done stuff before everybody else, and then when they catch up, they're like, oh, Claire, it can be lonely some days, because it's just like, they're like, when are you gonna catch up? Like, cat, come on. It can be lonely some days, so I get it. Like, she was ahead of her time, I am looking forward to see how the Red Ruby, they hinted towards it about the Red Ruby sleepers, but, like, I definitely felt for her. Like, I was like, oh my God, I almost shed a thug tear when, they started dancing or whatever with her. A pro that I did like too was Coach Jonathan Bailey. He's a pro. No, let's just stare at him. Let's just stare at him. But one of the pros I liked was that I felt like the choreography was insane for everybody. Like, the choreography was insane. They did a good job. They did a good job of dropping off Easter eggs without making them, like, obvious. Because one thing that irritates me when people be dropping off Easter eggs is just like, like, it looks obvious. Like, I like when they drop off an Easter egg and it's just like, like, it's like oh, okay. Like, some of these Easter eggs I've seen, I'm just like, all right, baby, we get it. But I can definitely say overall, like, I enjoyed it. Because remember, I've never watched anything Wicked. Like, I think I've heard the song popular because it was a popular, like, sound bite on TikTok. But I don't know the whole story. Like, I watched Wizard of Oz, so I at least have that base for it. But just watching the movie, like, it was amazing. I really am sad that they're going to split into two. Because, like I said, when you split into two, you lose your momentum. It reminded me of Emily in Paris when they split into two pieces. I was like, baby, we already passed this. Like, now emotionally I'm gone. Like, you have to strike while it's hot. Like, you see why they always say apply pressure to an open wound. Come on, we loving it right now. But you guys let me know your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, share. It's Claire here. Not the whole thing falling.